Hey guys, my name is Tanya. I'm 24 years old and I'm from Ontario, Canada. This is my first video here on YouTube, so please bear with me. So I gave birth recently. Just wanted to share a little bit with you guys about my pregnancy journey, my delivery, and our surprise diagnosis. So I found out that I was pregnant on January the 5th. Wasn't feeling well in the morning, so Jordan said to me, "Is this what I think it is?" And I said, "Jordan, don't even say it." I thought he was gonna jinx it. So went upstairs, took a test. He was actually going to help my dad stack wood that day. So headed back down to tell him the test was positive. He was already headed out the door, in his car actually. So I ran to the door, started like waving him down. He didn't see me, so of course next thing I do, call all my girlfriends, go to lunch with a couple of my girlfriends, take 2 more tests, both come back positive. So we ended up buying a balloon to tell Jordan. So I go back home later that afternoon. He gets home. I filmed him. I filmed telling him. He was not happy about that. So we ended up doing the 8-week ultrasound a little bit later on. There was the heartbeat, everything was fine. Did the 12-week ultrasound where you can opt to do some testing for Down syndrome. So we did that testing. We both had said explicitly, like, we don't think that we can raise a baby with special needs, to be honest. Like, it takes special people to raise a baby with special needs, and that was all we thought about that. We didn't think anything more of it. So we do the testing, comes back screened negative for Down syndrome. So I was told, of course, like, they can't tell for sure with the test, but our chance of having a baby with Down syndrome was like 1 in 2,000. So at first that struck me like that's a pretty low number. I was just comparing it to my sister who had like 1 in like 18 or 20,000. So it was a little concerning, but really I thought nothing more of it. Every pregnancy is different. Every woman's different. So that was that. We did a 20-week ultrasound with one of the top 3 OB-GYNs here in my city. Everything looked normal. The ultrasound was perfect. The only hiccup with that was the ultrasound room was so hot. I like stripped down as much as I could. He turned the fan on for me, but I fainted leaving the exam room. So he checked the baby's heartbeat afterwards. Everything was fine. We had another ultrasound as well, actually, at 27 weeks. We did a 3D ultrasound, which was amazing. I would highly recommend that. That took about 30 minutes. So getting into my labor, it was a Tuesday evening around 10 o'clock. I started feeling contractions. My labor was pretty long. It was 36 hours before even getting to the hospital. So I called the midwife in the night, Tuesday, and she said, take Gravol, Tylenol, go back to bed. So I did. The contractions were not that regular, every half an hour. Sometimes it could go for an hour and a half. So I did what the midwife had instructed. The next morning, I told Jordan, like, you better stay home from work. Something's going on. So he springs out of bed in the morning, starts packing his hospital bag, goes and installs the car seat. So we just kind of took it easy that day. I was supposed to see the midwives for an appointment anyway in the morning. Was not feeling up to it, so we saw them later in the afternoon. She had checked me out. I was only 1 centimeter dilated at that time, and my cervix was only like 25 to 50% effaced, like not favorable for labor. But she did say, I think you're going to go into labor this week. Like, I think you're going to have your baby, this week. So we go home again in the night. I thought my water had broke. So I called the midwives again, same thing, Gravol, Tylenol, go back to bed. So they were getting stronger, much more regular. So in the morning, Thursday morning, I took a bath and I said, Jordan, I need to call. If they tell me to do the same thing, we're going to go to the hospital because something's definitely going on. So the midwife ended up meeting me at the hospital. She checked me out there. That was about 10:30 in the morning. We got there, 7 centimeters. So just labored more at the hospital in the tub. It was great. It was very private with the midwife care. She was the only one in the room. So from there, it was about 3:30. I started to push. The midwife did break my water, so things progressed pretty quickly after that, but they were moving really fast the whole time. So I was pushing for like an hour or less, and then our baby was born. So he was born at 4:20 on August 29th. We didn't know the gender. Actually, we were pretty tempted to find out. I did not want to know. Jordan did want to know. So at the 20-week ultrasound, we got the doctor to write the gender on a piece of paper, took it home, thought about it a little bit more, but decided not to. I threw the paper out. So that was pretty exciting. I was just hoping that Jordan would be the one to tell me at the time of birth if it was a boy or girl. Not the midwives. No offense. But it ended up Harvey was born. They put him up onto my chest, and as they were putting him onto my chest, I said, it's a boy. Like, so I was the one that ended up telling Jordan, so that's pretty fun. It was about 45 minutes or so later, the midwife said to us, Harvey has markers of Down syndrome. So that was such a shock. She said, like, we don't know for sure. We can't say. A pediatrician is going to come in, meet you guys in about an hour or so. So at that point, like, I was in such shock from giving birth. I just wasn't all there yet, if you will. Like, when she said it to me, it was like water in my ears. Like, it was like I could not understand what she was saying. So, and at that point, like, I hadn't even, looked at his face. He was just snuggled right into me. So after that, I had Jordan take a photo of us, and I looked at it and I thought, yeah, like, absolutely, he has Down syndrome. From there was no question. So that was really tough to hear. Just like, we had done the screening, we thought, everything was fine, like, just giving birth to a brand new baby, and then hearing this was really hard. So it ended up the pediatrician that was on call, she came by. It was like right on time, like an hour later. So during that time, we just snuggled with the baby, and we were pretty confused. So she came in and she said, I can't say either way. He has some markers of Down syndrome, sure, but I've been wrong before. So that, like, we completely understood, like, she couldn't say without getting blood work, but that was going to take a month. So that was, again, very tough to hear. Like, couldn't be told either way. Like, I understood definitively, but just to hear an opinion. So another pediatrician came in the day after, just because Harv was jaundice. So my fiance Jordan just pulled him aside and said, like, well, you're here. We've been told he might have Down syndrome. Can you please tell us your opinion? So he said just very clearly, yes, I think he has Down syndrome. Pointed everything out physically, like, why he thought that, like the almond eyes, the nose, the ears, the spacing of the nipples, the space between the toes, everything. So that, again, like, was just hard to hear. Like, it saved us so much grief, though, honestly, like, waiting another month. Like, maybe yes, maybe no, like we have no idea. So that, like, again, just told us for sure. So we told our family, told all of our friends, even without the official diagnosis. We said, like, he has got it. So waited 1 month, saw the pediatrician actually when Harvey was exactly 1 month old, and we did get his official diagnosis of trisomy 21. So that's a little bit about our story. Told at birth about his Down syndrome. Here, Peterborough is the community that I'm from, so we have so many great resources. It's been great. Connected already with a lot of moms who have babies and children with Down syndrome, so that has been so helpful. There's also a Facebook group, Parents of Children with Down syndrome, so it's been fantastic. Everyone in our life has been so supportive and loving, and there's no difference. So that's my story here, guys, and I would love to hear yours. So